Alright, guys. Give me just a minute. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about the delays and everything. Steam has very kindly said, you ain't doing shit today. So, we're gonna pick up where we left off with more casual geographic. I did find a game called the Higher Lower game, so I figured that it's a web-based thing. Figured we'd try that too. But, yeah. Fun times. Hi, Sylvie. How are you? Alright.
Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
Oh. Did they? Oh my god, they made him a little sweater. Ow, why the fuck? Really? Already?
Completely shatter everything we thought we knew about the world. This is one of those pictures. So the story goes, a mother tiger in
Hi,
California
Piper, how are
tragically lost
you?
her cubs to premature labor, and the loss left her so depressed that she would barely move and wouldn't eat at all.
Oh,
Worried for her
no.
well-being, zookeepers took 5 baby pigs, wrapped them in tiger skin, and like only a true mother would, the tiger adopted them all.
Doing all right,
She
that's
would
good,
nurse
Piper.
them, eat and sleep with them, and refuse to let them out of her sight. It was your typical Disney feel-good story that warmed the hearts of anyone who saw it. Now, here's where you have a choice. I can let you keep believing that story and just leave you with the happy ending.
I feel like I'm in the
You should
way
probably
here,
click off this
but
video,
whatever.
Drink water, hug your mother, all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one. For the rest of y'all going red pill, just remember, you chose this. So this picture's 100% real. No Photoshop, no filter. This happened. The story I just told you behind it was completely made up. First of all, this wasn't even taken in California. It was 8,000 miles away in one of the biggest tiger hubs in the
You did
world.
this to you. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Steam did this to me.
This isn't a wholesome story about a tiger.
Steam said, fuck your games.
It's actually one of the most unhinged experiments you've never heard of. You see, this zoo wanted to know if they could successfully rewire the nature of a tiger.
I'm
And
gonna
they
have for
did that
sleep
by
it
having one be
out all
raised by
day
a
and
pig.
oh
Yeah,
god.
they basically decided to play God with a
That sounds like me.
Garfield.
kind
I
of.
mean, this was back in 2004, but it was also 11 years
I
after
don't even know how much,
someone
like,
should have known.
over the last 2
So
days, I
Mr.
have no
Washington
idea how
had a
much
mother
sleep I've
Big
actually
raise a
had.
litter of tiger cubs.
Not
The
enough,
tiger
I know
in
that
the
much.
picture was 2-year-old Saimai, and she was actually brought up and nursed by a pig until
My
she
body
was 4
aches
months
fair.
old.
Yeah, I can relate with
Being
that.
raised by a pork product could make
Okay, I might have to change my fucking camera settings.
and from the pictures and
My
videos,
eyes are
it
going
seemed like
derpy.
it worked. Until it didn't. It would take years.
I'm not-
Eventually, several claims were made, claims of animal mistreatment, exploitation.
Dude, I'm literally staring straight at the camera. What the fuck? Okay, hang on. No.
And I genuinely
No.
thought that was the only cat
No.
any of y'all ever saw. The zoo also had a bunch of hands-on stuff you could do with tigers, which is probably the biggest red flag a zoo can have. If the same striped delete button that can solo a walking bicep also sits still for a stranger's selfie, start looking left, cause ain't right. So to make a long story short, if
Give me a second, guys. I know I'm not moving or
Tigers
anything. It looks weird.
in Thailand. There was even an incident where 23 tigers flatlined a bird
Hang
after
on.
being fed raw.
If this will work, I don't know if it'll
And
work
then there's
right.
also the fact that one of the zoo owners, Samay Tamsiripong, was charged with breeding tigers without a license.
Ah, shit!
The worldwide pandemic.
That scared me.
But eventually the zoo closed its doors July 13th, 2021.
Ah, no, I did it wrong. Go back. Go back.
16 years after this picture was taken, another video would go viral.
I fucked up.
Only this time, it was a now 19
I didn't change the thing.
on one of the piglets, and not in a cute playing type of way. The only thing stopping Wilbur from becoming the end of Charlotte's Web was a zookeeper distracting the tiger before a bunch of small
Ah!
found out where bacon comes from.
Yes, Subi?
That video wasn't exactly the nail in the coffin, it was
Yes?
more like the shovel that started.
I love you.
I love you too, Subi.
Also proved is that
You
you
fucking
can't change
weirdo.
nature, no matter how many sequels this franchise gets. Like take this video for example,
Okay.
where this polar bear went viral for seemingly petting a husky in Canada. The biggest meat eater in the world on legs, and even he can't help himself. Adorable, right?
Okay, there we go.
Didn't go viral was immediately after when the polar bear proceeded to send the dog to dog backwards by attacking and eating it, all while the dog was chained up and couldn't even run. Hey, remember, you chose the red pill. The point is, there are rules in nature, and every time we cosplay as creator and break them means one less dog, one confused tiger, and a bunch of
But
pigs.
try to- I would say try to get some rest paper, but
sometimes
I know that
nature
only
breaks rules
goes so
all the
far,
time,
I
and all
guess.
it leaves us with are questions. Kamunyak was a lioness living in the Samburu Reserve in Kenya who would become famous worldwide in 2002 for violating the #1 rule of being a lion. The lioness was seen with a young...
Because, like I said, I've been dealing with insomnia the last 2 days.
She
And,
didn't turn the calf into calories. Instead,
like,
she
I
acted as
ended up getting up at,
following
like,
it around everywhere and even defending it from other
11 or
animals
so?
attempting
I
to
don't
be
even know.
pregnant. The lioness had adopted
But
something
granted,
that
I
any
was
other breed
up.
would've just been prone
like,
to.
I was still
This
awake
time
when
humans had nothing
Subi
to
left
do.
for work.
Tourists would flock in from all over to witness this disrespect to the natural
The last,
order,
like,
and
2
even after
days.
seeing it with their
So-
own eyes, they still didn't believe it. Kamunyak only confused rangers the more they watched her. At one point, she squared up with a group of cheetahs for looking at the oryx calf the wrong way. She would literally starve herself for the calf's sake.
Yeah, and it's
She
not
would go
that,
out
like,
and
I was tired. I just wasn't
Oryx calf would just
sleepy.
wander around aimlessly instead of staying hidden
Like,
in one place the way an actual lion
I was,
comes.
like,
So
restless
for more than
almost.
2
It was
weeks
really
we were
weird.
Together, she just didn't eat. I can only
So,
imagine what the
yeah.
other lions thought. This was basically like a man walking into an orphanage and then leaving with a Big Mac in a stroller. Like that time SpongeBob had an entire relationship arc with something he grills for a living. It's just one of those things like Mandy smiling or EDP foster momming a cupcake and not eating it. It just breaks the natural order. One day, Kamunyak and her little calf went to get water, and in the short amount of time her back was turned, a male lion appeared and gave her a live demonstration of what a lion actually is.
No!
Yeah, no more baby. And the lioness that had nearly starved herself to death for it acted like any mother would after losing a cub of her own. And the rangers watching it all go down
Oh my
had no way
God.
of explaining it. Now, the baby oryx calf being chilled with its #1 op in the first place actually isn't that crazy. There's a good chance it was probably just too young to even know what fear was. Like when a baby wildebeest was filmed playing with a hyena cub as if his family reunion wouldn't dissect and eat him alive. That is until its mother pulled up and
Oh,
remembered who
fuck.
it was and did. The predator playing parent to prey is where rules get broken. It's something you'd expect from Disney, and like in Disney, it probably started from a family member getting murked. Kamunyak apparently had cubs of her own, and a violent dispute in the pride meant she lost them, likely to a new rival
No.
male. And with as young as she was, this was likely her first litter, and after losing them so brutally and hormones still running high, she probably didn't know what else to do. So it's possible that the calf imprinting on the lioness caused a motherly instinct to
And
override the
fostered,
turn
yeah.
to take out and smoke you like a Marlboro instinct. At least that's just my guess, because no one thought to ask the lioness what was going through her head. This might have been her first time, but this wouldn't be her only. This would happen not once, not twice, not even a hat trick, but Kamunyak the lioness would adopt 6 different oryx
Oh,
cats.
6?
Also, I feel like I should just mention, at this point she was going out of her way to follow her just so she could steal any.
Okay, hang on a second, guys. Hang on.
She just didn't realize that these weren't lions because oftentimes she would let the newborn cat.
I gotta go. T, be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. So sorry.
Calf
Needed
nursing
my
her
teeth.
actual mother
Sorry.
before running her off. And in case you're curious about what happened to the rest of her foster kids, the second one was intercepted by park rangers and taken to an animal orphanage in Nairobi. The third calf actually returned to its mother, and during a nursing session pieced out with the rest of its herd, even with Kamunyak chasing after them to get her baby back. Same thing happened with the fourth, with the mother oryx managing to reunite with her baby. And I can only imagine this made her learn her
Okay.
lesson in the worst way possible, because she didn't let the fifth calf return to its mother, and the end game was the calf going into a permacoma due to starvation, which Kamunyak would respond to by
No.
full evacuated body. And adoption number 6 went like 3 and 4, with the kidnapped calf hightailing it back to his biomom. And remember, she would go on a hunger strike for the entire time she was looking after each one. And I'd love to tell you that this story ends with Kamunyak finally getting an actual family of her own, except she was last sighted in 2004 and no one's been able to find her since. This was a movie,
No.
it'd be Lion King's troubled teenage cousin. And it's not the only time this kind of thing happened.
That's so
The
sad.
crew was focused on a herd of wildebeest along with one lioness stalking them from the grasses. Fun fact, lions will often spawn wipe their prey by
Undead Piper just resubscribed for 4 months in a row.
Scared the shit out of me. Thank you so much, Piper. Oh my god.
Been her easiest meal in months. And the little minute-old wildebeest started nuzzling up to the huge cat.
That scared the fuck out of me. Jesus Christ.
I don't know if it was that famous good baby smell, or if the fetus not showing any fear factory reset the lion software, but not only did she spare
But thank you so much for the 4 months. I know that we're both sub to each other, and it's both 4 months on each side, but it doesn't, it seems like it's been longer.
trying to catch a bite.
It really
Something
does.
made her stop, and I have no idea why. At least with a calf, it's probably too young to know to run away and just saw the lion as a warm body. But an animal deciding to pretty much pardon something it's eaten hundreds of in its life is something science can't 100% explain. And before y'all say she must have felt bad for the baby, there's literally videos on YouTube of lions life-depriving pregnant animals, pulling the fetus out and eating both alive.
Yep.
I guess technically only one of them's alive. I guess there is a chance a lioness was trying to use the baby as bait to murk its bigger and more fulfilling mother, and some articles think it's their version of playing with their food, like a cat and mouse kind of thing. But like, that still doesn't explain how a cat that can eat 15 pounds of meat a day would lose interest in free calories that fast. And the
Yeah.
stories just keep coming. In fact, just last year, a lioness was caught on camera looking like it was escorting a baby wildebeest calf back to its herd, with the little guy following him the way he would with his biomom. So I don't know, maybe when a lioness loses her cubs, the motherly instinct is so strong she'll project it on anything.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
That chasing and catching their groceries is too much work, and now they're trying the factory farming strat. But a lion treating food like family wasn't the only time a major rule of cat culture was broken. Like, I want you to take a good look at this picture. This might look like nothing special, but let me give you some background. A lion's main goal in life is to pass down his genes as much as possible to keep his bloodline alive. The catch is, whenever a rival male or males take over a pride, the first thing they do is commit severely late-term abortions on any offspring that aren't theirs. Scar actively trying to put Simba on a t-shirt was scientifically accurate, although if it was 100%, he would have wiped out Nala too.
God damn. God damn.
You know, you really have no choice. One way or another. I always get what I want.
Yep, we know why he kept her alive. We know.
Long story short, a new stepfather usually means caskets for any remaining cubs, which is exactly what this male did. After he and another male took over a pride, he proceeded to give every cub a welcoming gift of a pair of wings and a halo. Every cub, except for that one. That's not.
He might buy Cult of the Lamb. I've been wanting to get it.
Sparing op DNA.
It's gonna be a
He's
bit,
been
though.
photographed playing with the cub. Also, a moment of silence for his actual dad. Man's just nearly lost his entire gene pool and got all his women snatched from him just to have his own chromosomes cuddling with the lion that did it. And I just know bro watching from the gulag like, ain't no way. Now, new males don't always go Casey Anthony on the children. Sometimes lionesses are able to fend off the newcomers, and sometimes the lions don't even bother with cubs that are 9 months or older, i.e. cubs past the nursing phase. But like, that's the thing. That cub is definitely young enough to get turned into a rug. And being cute with
Yeah, the fact that he brought up the gulag, that's fucking great.
And it's not just lions defying nature. Male tigers usually want no parts in raising children. They might protect them, but that's it. Especially since tigers are solitary animals that have enough
So that's
job looking after them.
that's not just
There was
big
at
cats
least one
though.
tiger that broke this rule, and his name was P243. You see, our boy P243
Oof.
had a mate, and that was P213-32. I didn't come up with the names. The two were together
Warzone,
for
yeah.
over 2 years, and 243 was never seen with another tigress because we love a faithful king. But his
Aww.
mate suddenly died, and it clearly had an effect on him. He spent hours sitting at the place his mate of many years past, and when the tigress was cremated, P243 was on a scene less than an hour later. She didn't just leave him behind, but also 4 cubs. Normally, losing a mother that young means the orphans would soon get to go see her, but P243 did what we've rarely seen a male tiger, or really any male big cat for that matter, do. He stepped up. After that, P243 would often make kills, but leave the food behind for the 4 cubs who were too young to hunt for themselves.
Aww.
One time, the father caught a full-grown cow and left it behind without taking any for himself. And whenever the
Oh,
forest
wow.
department would see the 4 cubs, the father would never be too far away. Obviously, there isn't a mystery as to why he did this. I mean, they were his kids. But it also managed to break what we thought were the rules of being a male tiger. Because as dark and messed up as it sounds, it would actually make more sense to just cut losses and try again with another female. Instead of taking
yeah.
the time to raise kids that might not make it in the end when you really could just make more. Especially since 10 days after his mate died, trackers found him near another female. But the relationship didn't go anywhere and the two weren't seen together again. Meanwhile, 243 continued looking after his cubs. There were even a few reports that the tiger had started teaching his cubs how to hunt. Now, there is no way of knowing for sure the cubs make it after all that, but according to the latest update I could find, all 4 cubs are still alive, healthy, and active. Which would be
Well, that's
great news
good.
even if they had a mother, but going 4 for 4 even after getting Bambied, well,
Why are they so big?
it's not supposed to happen. At this point, every breath they take is overachieving, and you can thank Mr. 243 for that. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this
Also,
video.
yeah.
Be sure to check out my TikTok and Instagram for more consistent uploads in between videos.
Okay,
And if
so-
you'd like to support this channel beyond subscribing, my Patreon's also.
Okay. What animals do for fun? We watched something similar yesterday, so. Is that a rat?
Good morning.
I love otters, they're so cute.
Everybody has a different playing style.
Fun.
Was it capybara? I couldn't tell. It was like
You is
grainy.
For you and me, and is for anywhere at any time at all. And I appreciate how that song spells out fire, not fun, and we all just collectively accepted that. But fun isn't just a human construct that man, or a talking sponge, invented. Nah, plenty of animals have ways of having a good time. Take wolves, for example. Wolves are social animals, so it makes sense that they'd use play to strengthen bonds in the pack. Wolves in the wild will do things like play tug-of-war, or try to get others to chase them. And it's not just the pups doing it, the adults get in on it too. They even have a specific way of inviting others to play. A play bow is like the wolf version of a friend request, and it's a signal that they want others to get in
Oh,
on
that's
the
so
games.
cute.
And if you don't believe me, play bow in front of your dog and watch how fast you get his undivided attention.
Yep.
Because dogs are all about play. It's why stronger dogs will actively hold back and restrain themselves just to keep their playmate engaged and the games going. It's called self-handicapping, and you'll often see it with male puppies letting physically weaker female puppies win. They know what they're doing. They know, and if you've ever had a girlfriend, you do too. You sure do. But adult wolves rarely self-handicap because they rarely nerf themselves on purpose. But I'll tell you one thing dogs did get from wolves: fetch. That's right, we didn't come up with that. In an experiment in Stockholm University in Sweden, researchers hand-raised a litter of puppies, making sure to get them comfortable with their presence but not playing with them. And at 8 weeks old, they brought in a person the wolf pups had never seen before to administer a series of tests. One of those tests involved tossing a tennis ball, and to the shock of the scientists, some of the wolf pups actually retrieved the ball and returned it to them. Remember, we're talking about wolves here. Wolves that hadn't been trained or motivated to do that. They basically just freestyled the game of fetch. Not all the wolf pups did this, but understanding human cues was thought to be a domestic dog thing, so realistically, none of them should have. We didn't teach dogs fetch. It was already programmed into their software. But if we
Okay.
didn't teach them, who did?
Yeah.
Well, maybe ravens, because we've already.
I was gonna say crows.
Raven relationship.
Crows or ravens?
But ravens have been seen seemingly playing with specific puppies in the pack. They'll play tug-of-war with sticks. The ravens will do things like tease them to get the wolf pups to chase after them. And sometimes the ravens will even fly over them with sticks to get them to jump. These childhood games are probably how ravens and wolves can form legitimate emotional bonds. And it actually makes a lot of sense that this kind of thing would happen, since wolves are social pack animals and ravens are one of the most playful things with wings while also having the intelligence of a small child. Because you're gonna see, the smarter an animal is, the more playful they usually are. And that's because play typically comes down to 2 things: manipulating the objects around you and interacting with others. 2 things that do require intelligence. Like take bees, probably the most intelligent eusocial insect out there. Well, in an experiment
He
in the
was
Queen
so
Mary
insanely
University,
covered in pollen, holy
scientists built a
shit.
setup where bees had a choice: take a path leading directly to food, or explore a path with an obstacle course of tiny wooden balls. And to add to that, one side had wooden balls that were fixed in place, while the others were loose and could be rolled around. Not only did every bee choose the ball path, every single one tried rolling a ball at least once. Some of the bees even went right back after eventually stopping for food. And to make it even more interesting, it was actually the juvenile bees that
I'm
spent the most
actually
time
going to
involved
move
with.
myself
So yeah,
over
that's
here.
actually how we found out bees can play. But the question is, what other insects can? Well, we can probably rule out ants, and here's
Well, maybe not.
because they're not smart
Fuck it.
enough
I'm
to
gonna put my happy ass right back where I
They'll
was.
probably get murked by the
Goddamn.
time to figure it out. Because an ant colony runs like an efficient engine, and any part not doing their part gets turned into past tense. And queen
Fun
ants
fact,
are
bees can't
crazy
fly at night?
cutthroat, like to the point
Huh.
where they'll actively sabotage their own colony just to keep themselves higher in power.
In the middle
the
and
trade-off
low.
is the ant colony is a militia that's capable of cutting
Just
down
drop-
animals
just-
hundreds
just-
of times their size. And in a game like the ants under
No, because if I do that, because if you guys do zoom or something, it's gonna fuck with it. That's why I'm like, no, I'm just gonna leave it in the corner.
And even flex on lizards. And this isn't just a game.
God damn it,
There
if
are
I can-
actual ants out there that'll go out of their way to meal prep spiders.
If
and
I can do
lizards
a
in
thing.
South America had to literally evolve to avoid getting packed up by a swarm of fire ants. True story.
In the dark,
and in the
they
ants
fall
underground
to the
kingdom,
ground
you
and
get to
crawl-
add to your
oh,
insect
okay.
infantry by hatching and raising them, including a class of special ants. Which
Is he plugging a fucking game in the middle of this shit?
Ants and other cool
Sir.
ants. But just because you can play one game about
I-
ants doesn't mean ants are the ones to are, and it goes way beyond weaponizing to play games. But corvids like crows and ravens definitely are, and it goes way beyond
Jeez.
weaponizing wolves. Because as cute as this may be, and it really is, you could argue that keeping wolves close is in their best interest. But then there's this, a raven using a plastic lid as a sled to slide down snowy hills. And then you have this raven
That's
sliding down the
adorable.
roof of a public library. Or at least trying to. They have nothing to gain from doing this. This is unrewarded play, and basically it means, yeah, they're not doing it for survival or anything, they're just doing it to have a good time. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. For a bird whose group name is an unkindness, ravens and really corvids in general are probably the most playful birds on the planet. It's why you'll see them actively mess with other animals just for this, even if it means instigating a literal catfight for their own entertainment. So next time
That's
you
fucked up.
have fun, I want you to remember this snowboarding crow. Or you can think of this self-tobogganing otter. River otters in Yellowstone have been seen getting a running start and snow surfing down icy slopes. Now, first scientists just figured it was their way of getting around. That theory fell apart when they watched the river otters run back up the slope like kids at a water park, only to slide back down.
That's adorable.
Play because the otters don't gain anything but a good time. And FOMO for otters is a real thing because you're more likely to see them sliding as a group than just solo. And like ravens, you can almost see how intelligence and playfulness almost goes hand in hand, especially since otters are considered to be the most intelligent of all mustelids, being part of the special class of animals that are able to use tools, to the point where river otters will seem to juggle rocks when they get excited. No, like,
That's so
seriously,
fucking
we had
adorable,
no idea
my
why
God.
they were doing this until researchers at a zoo noticed they started juggling rocks more when it got closer to their feeding time. We still don't know exactly what it is about food that makes otters start juggling rocks, but sometimes you need to just take a moment to stop asking why, just to enjoy.
I mean, it's like when,
why
I
do
guess,
crocodiles
dogs or
like
cats get like the zoomies
because according
almost.
to anecdotal observations, crocodilians seem to have a pink preference, favoring tossing around small objects that look like the result of a red-white affair. It's why the prehistoric predator that's been terrorizing the planet for hundreds of millions of years can be seen picking pink flowers with its jaws.
That is adorable! Oh my god.
They'll take turns
I
going
didn't
down natural water
realize
slides
that
and right back
they-
up
they
again,
like the
and
color
they'll give
pink.
each other
That's
piggyback
adorable.
rides, just cuz. And there's even a story where animal behavior expert Vladimir Dene claimed to witness an alligator seemingly play with a group of river otters in Big Cypress in Florida, because Florida. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
that
He wrote a
tracks.
whole paper on play behavior in crocodilians, and he talks about watching river otters regularly visit one specific gator and mess with him by getting close to him, nipping at his tail, and even splashing water on his head. Most gators would respond to this by just submerging, but this one gator played along by lunging at the otters. I know what you're probably thinking, and to that, I give you this. At one point, one of the otters slipped down the bank and was immediately grabbed by the gator. But instead of making an example out of it, the prehistoric merc machine just released it perfectly unharmed. It was like a game that both of them were in on. And
Okay.
unlike wolves and ravens, gators and otters have legitimate beef in some parts. But like I said, sometimes you need to forget about the why and just enjoy the what. And what happened was, these games went on for a couple days until the marsh eventually dried up and the alligators and otters both moved on. That's not the only example of crocodilians at play, that just happens to be the best one I got. Another time was when a gator found a football in his swamp, and instead of easily
This is, yeah, that had to have been taken in
grabbing it with
Florida.
his jaws and tossing it around.
Hands down.
You know, I could 100% use this to make a Florida Gators joke, but at this point, I think it would be low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it 100% is.
Goes right in line with the intelligence point I made earlier. Despite having a brain in the weight class of a walnut, crocodilians are much more intelligent than they get credit for. Unlike dolphins, who get all of the credit for it. Now, you probably know dolphins like to have fun. The problem is, most of their pastimes would probably get this video age restricted with the quick. Like, for example, two Amazon river dolphins were seen playing with a Benny anaconda. I put playing in quotes because both dolphins were visibly aroused, and the snake ended up flatlining, likely to drowning. And you know, knowing what I know about dolphins, that's probably what got them excited. Because most dolphin fun comes at someone's expense.
Yep.
I can repeat that same sentence without the fun and it'd still be accurate. I give
Yeah.
you Exhibit A. But dolphins can have fun in safer workways too. They'll take turns chasing each other in games that can last hours. They'll find random objects to carry around and even play catch with. Oh, and a little fun fact for you, one of a dolphin's favorite things to play with includes sargassum seaweed. Researchers actually watched dolphins in the Bahamas play a kind of keep-away game with the seaweed. But the best part was the dolphins were used to being around humans, and eventually they invited the researchers to play with them. And no amount of scientific integrity would stop any of us from saying no. Dolphins have
Well, of course not.
surfing the bow waves produced by ships, sometimes for miles on end. It's not like they just do it to save energy. A group of spinner dolphins actually memorized the path scientists on a boat would take. So every morning the spinner dolphins would show up and ride the bow wave as the scientists traveled to their site. The dolphins would leave for a bit, but then return and do the exact same thing when the scientists started heading back.
That's so
yeah,
neat.
it's really no surprise that the smartest thing in the ocean can be as playful as a child, because honestly, they're probably as smart as one. So smart that many believe that dolphins will purposely seek out pufferfish just to get them elevated. Apparently the
Which we watched this one yesterday.
Population in minutes has something of a narcotic effect in small doses, to the point where people will swear by seeing dolphins take turns passing the puffer until they're all stuck on its product. Humans, they definitely be the ones huffing markers in class. By the way, you really shouldn't do that. But dolphins are far from the only ones that get elevated and hella faded. It's believed that cats will eat grass and leaves because they contain folic acid, which helps move oxygen around the blood. Plus, when they throw it up, it helps clean out their system. So it shouldn't be a surprise to see the biggest cat in America chewing on leaves. What's surprising is that it seems to put the jaguar in a trance and even induces kitten-like behavior, to the point where people believe that this apex predator will go out of its way to chew on leaves from the Yaji. And in doing so, they book a flight on the same plane as Joe Rogan. Scientists can't say for sure just why jaguars will go to these lengths to get zooted. Many natives will tell you that jaguars do it to buff their perception and senses, which heightens their hunting abilities. We don't know if the plants even affect them like that, but let's be real. We all know that look. Looking like this, you definitely give them a talking to. So
yeah.
It's my professional opinion that jaguars will purposely get off one when they're not busy hunting for a living. Because when nothing in a jungle can press you, you can afford to. Not the case for pandas though. They gotta take licks from everybody. That doesn't stop them from being a walking viral clip every time they're on camera. But there's actually a reason why you can make an entire playlist on pandas being cute. Mother pandas usually only raise one baby at a time. If she pops out twins, then it's all good for Mary Kay, but it might be up for Ashley. For most of a young panda's life, its only playmate is its mother. So when keepers hand raise baby pandas and the baby pandas imprint on them, this is what happens, because this is what they do with their actual mothers. Another thing pandas like to go viral for is their very much one-sided beef with gravity in the
Yeah, I was about to say, they are the derpiest
like I said,
things.
a lot of animals can pack up pandas, especially when they're young, so their only option is to climb, which very much makes trees their safe haven. They climb to avoid predators. They climb to avoid other pandas. They'll even sometimes go through the process of making another panda in the trees. Trees are so important that young pandas instinctively love climbing. So much that many believe that the reason pandas like to hug their caretaker's legs is because they see human legs as trees and honestly can't help themselves. While this might be fun for them, this is actually a form of rewarded play, since climbing ends up being a massive part of their life. But so does rolling around, and there might be a reason for that too. First of all, panda bones are weirdly thick and heavy for their size, so the falls and tumbles they take don't hurt them nearly as much as you'd expect them to.
Okay.
Also, pandas are nearsighted, so it's possible they legitimately can't see what's in front of their face.
Fair.
But many scientists believe pandas just enjoy rolling around, to the point where mothers will often join their cubs doing it. They're not the only bears that can be playful. Polar bears can actually be just as goofy, it's just that pandas are a lot less likely to John Wick a human for food. Polar bears can form friendships where they eat, travel, and play together, and these relationships can last years. Their favorite way to bond is by wrestling, and like with dogs, a stronger polar bear will often self-handicap and let the smaller bear win. And also like with dogs, polar bears have their own way of asking for permission to play too. In their case, a polar bear will move its head from side to side to initiate a friendly sparring session. These pair bonds usually last a summer until they eventually go their separate ways for the harsh winter season. But time and time again, scientists have seen the same polar bear friends reuniting after breeding season and carrying on like nothing ever happened. And honestly, I feel like most adult friendships go just like that. As in, you can without speaking or hearing from each other, but you can also link up and go on like they never left. But of course, polar bears know how to have fun by themselves too. Polar bears have been seen sliding down hills or across ice for hours for no reason other than having fun. So basically, even the biggest land predators on the planet know how to have a good time.
It's just an oversized puppy.
Biggest land animal, period. Well, it turns out, having fun is actually an important part of an elephant's life, and males and females are different in how they do it. Young males love roughhousing and play fighting, which actually helps prepare them for a future of running fades for female validation. This natural playful aggression is why you'll often see young male calves chasing around other animals. Hold on, wait for it. And there it is. That's what it looks like for a baby elephant to throw a tantrum. Fun
That
fact,
was so
females
cute.
usually involves thrashing around vegetation, sticks, bones, and anything else they can wrap their trunks around. But the ultimate sign of elephant fun is something they do called the floppy run. And it's exactly what it sounds like. When elephants really get excited, they'll shake their heads from side to side, they'll let their trunks hang loose and their ears flap in the
That's
wind,
so adorable.
and they'll just run. All while trumpeting. It's usually calves and young teenagers that get floppy with it, but sometimes the whole herd gets involved. But considering half an elephant's time is spent in the water, then it makes sense that half their fun happens in there too. And if you've ever seen elephants playing in the water, it's actually wild how much they look like kids in a pool. There's something really satisfying about watching a 12,000-pound vibe check splashing around in water like a child. And often they'll spray water at each other or sometimes even other animals just for the sport of it. And in this case, other animals can very much include humans. But all this lighthearted fun might actually be crucial to their survival. You see, some studies say that the most playful elephant calves grow up to be the ones best at coping with environmental stress, which increases their chances of survival. Again, we don't know if this is 100% true, but like I said, sometimes you need to just forget about why and just enjoy watching a baby elephant take a shower. But that's gonna do it for this video. I want to thank you all so much for the support this year. It really does mean a lot. And best believe, I got a lot more stuff planned for 2023. But for now, happy holidays.
Guess what? What was that? How a camel's bad habit can put you in a coffin? Ah! Why? Thank you, Piper. How to not get unsubscribed from life. There we go. Oh!
So if you're a long-time subscriber, there's a couple of videos that might have brought you here. One of them might be the very first video I ever made. It's still up today, but considering it was a TikTok compilation I slapped together and it was back when I used Apple headphones as a mic, the quality is trash. In fact,
which we watched that yesterday. We did.
Myself into a hernia, and in all honesty, if the views didn't go crazy, I definitely would have vaulted it like nature did the dinosaurs. Or the Bundy Hornets, whatever happened to them? Well, with the recent upgrade in the production quality of my channel, I figured why not remake the
oh,
video
nice,
that probably
nice.
got you here in the first place. So
Thank
here's
you,
how to
though. I do
survive a moose
appreciate
attack.
it.
You don't actually have a choice in the matter. You see, the key word here is attack. The road to getting a moose aggravated often comes with a toll price of your life. And honestly, you're probably safer in front of a bear than a 10-foot tank with antlers. With predators, you can convince them that you're not worth the effort. But there is no negotiating with something.
I'm just gonna make myself smaller so I'm not covering him entirely.
Not even let it get to that point. So here are some signs that a moose is considering turning you from one of a kind to another in a pine. If a moose stops eating or drinking and suddenly stares at you,
you're fucked!
You got the moose's
You're fucked!
interest to give it back. If a moose shows you the whites of his eyes, soon you'll be seeing the sight.
Next one you should
sky.
watch
And if
is
the
called
ears
If You
are
Haven't
pinned
Smelled
back,
It. Okay.
mind's on attack.
Or
This
haven't
goes for
smelled
pretty
it
much
today,
all
rather.
animals.
Bleh.
Once the ears go flat, then the next few seconds are going to be very crucial to continuing your way of life. And I don't entirely know why, but if a moose urinates while looking at you, it's a sign of ill intent. I'm guessing it's like a territorial thing, but wherever you came from is where you need to be heading. And if a moose lowers starts approaching you, that is likely the last warning that doesn't come with a hospital bill. Of course, none of that really matters because a four-legged armored truck with the ability to make conscious choices could just choose.
Why are they just standing there, you fucking idiots? Christ! Oh my god. God, you people are stupid.
A shed or a building, or at the very least put something between you and the moose, like a tree, or even a mailbox or something. And if violence is inevitable, you're going to want to curl into a ball, protect your vital organs, and forgive those who may have wronged you in the past so the hate in your heart doesn't weigh you down as you go to the clouds.
No, it's pretty much just kiss your ass goodbye at that
Right
point.
after the moose stops trampling you, because that could motivate the moose to star in the sequel of your assault. Basically, the whole make yourself look bigger thing, yeah, do the exact opposite with a moose. Don't stand your ground because at the moment it's not yours. You're dealing with the Lord of the North, and nothing short of a magazine with no words or a freed willy is stopping him. You can expect more than 10% off when a moose is involved, especially when it's a mother with a calf or a male.
Oh yeah, if it's
For those of you that already
you're
know
fucked.
what rutting is, I'm 90% sure I know how you know, and I'm 90% disappointed in you. However, the moose usually isn't trying to hurt you, so the less of a threat you are. Can't really do that for these guys though. Here's how to survive a chimp attack. Yeah, funny thing about that, either you don't or you don't. Look, if you already follow me, then you already know what chimps are and what they're capable of. People think they're cute because they look like humans when
No, they're not. They're
act like them too.
terrifying.
I have a list on how to survive a chimp attack, but if you're in a position where you can get touched up by one, then you've already ignored steps 1 through 5. Step 6 is to lease a coffin. But let's say you effed around and now you're trying not to find out. Don't smile or show teeth since this can be interpreted as a sign of aggression. It's their version of flashing your piece. Eye contact with a chimp is a good way to make contact with your ancestors since this can be directly seen as a challenge. However, if a chimp is already coming at you with violence, then it might be time to pick a color for your casket. There is one weakness chimps have that might just save you. Because chimpanzees are built like Michelangelo statues, their relatively low body fat and top-heavy body composition means Chimps can't really swim. So if you happen to be near a body of water, diving into the deep end where a chimp can't follow you might be the only thing that saves you. Now here's a video of a chimp doing exactly what I just said they couldn't. So I guess the real advice here is be an organ donor. Because at least the left of you can go on to benefit someone else, because it's not like you're gonna need it. Now let's talk about bears. You've probably heard the popular rhyme for bear safety, and that's, if it's black, fight back, if it's brown, get on the ground, and if it's white like a cloud, you're gonna die. But there are some misconceptions with this, and some of those misconceptions could get you put on a shirt, so we're gonna talk about it bear by bear. With black bears, you're gonna wanna fight back. But that doesn't mean just start throwing hands at the bear, because a bear of any kind is folding any man like Sunday laundry. But what you wanna do is make yourself look like a threat. Stand up tall, talk loud and firmly, and if you have a bag or a jacket or something, raise it over your head to make yourself look bigger. Black bears seem to constantly forget who they are and instead choose to identify as overweight raccoons, so they can be intimidated. Now with brown bears, you're gonna want to get on the ground.
That was
Not
cute.
for the reason some people might tell you. Some people say to play dead, since bears don't like to eat prey that's already past tense. Bears will eat literally anything, including other baby bears, so they're not about to miss out on free.
Yeah, I don't think they really care.
But also, bears aren't stupid. You see, playing possum works for possums because they're not playing. They actually pass out and go into a panic coma where no amount of pushing or prodding wakes them up. Also, they'll drool and release a foul smell to really sell the bit. So unless you plan on committing to the role that hard, it's not gonna help you. Why you actually get on the ground is to look as unintimidating and non-threatening as possible. So basically, none of the things you do with a black bear. You're gonna wanna lay down, clasp your hands around your neck, and then spread your legs to make it harder to flip you over. But the most important thing, and I cannot stress this enough, do not run. A bear can keep pace with a
Nope, the second you run,
All
it's
running does
fun
is
games for
get
them.
into a memory sooner. Especially since bears are the largest terrestrial predators on the planet while also having the endurance of a CrossFit junkie. And sometimes the bear will test their instincts by charging. Most charges, however, are bluffs, and the worst thing you can do for your health is do to race with a homicide case with paws. Also, whoever said bears can't run downhill was actively trying to sell the human race. Yes, they can, and thinking they can't will be your downfall. But the best way to survive a bear attack is to avoid one in the first place.
Wait. Where did that even come from? A shotgun would help too, yeah? But you better have damn good aim. Where the fuck did that myth come from that they can't run downhill? It's not like a cow. It's not like a cow that can't go downstairs or some shit. Hi Kiori, how are you? Why did my voice just crack? Ugh. Hang on a second, I'll be right back, guys. I see you, Fish Slap. You snuck in while I was away. I see you. How are you doing? How's everybody? Bear spray has been found to be more effective in a lot of cases. Yeah. Explosive slugs. I'm pretty good. Just procrastinating on a bunch of stuff.
So if you're ever hiking in bear country, you're actually
I feel that, but it's more so insomnia is
making
like,
a lot of noise actually tells
get
the bear
fucked,
where you
nerd.
are and allows it to avoid conflict in the first place. Also, since bears have a hypersensitive nose and sense of smell, carrying bear spray can be the difference between going home in peace and resting there in pieces. Bear spray is said to save people from serious injury in bear encounters 98% of the time. God bless you if you're in that 2%. There is a catch though. Everything I just said applies to territorial encounters with bears. If a bear comes at you on predatory timing, then my only advice is to make peace peace with the higher being of your choosing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Bear attacks on humans are rare, but when they do happen, someone gets put on the news. And that's why if the bear in your presence is a polar bear, then it's up. And
There you go, getting proven right. Yep.
Polar bears are hyper carnivores, so while other bears are omnivorous,
I was waiting for him to
polar bears are
mention
all
it
meat all
via
the
the bear
time.
spray.
And since polar bears can smell their next meal from an area code away, by the time you see him, just know he's been plotting on you. There is one tip that says polar bears have ADHD, and undressing and tossing articles of clothing will distract them.
I might have to turn
But unless
the
you have, like, an
frequency on that
unlocked car or
down.
a bear-proof house, all you've done is guarantee that you now die naked and cold. And if the bear somehow doesn't
Yeah,
get you,
never
whoever
mind.
finds your body gets to see exactly how your life ended. Now, half the reason I work out is so that if I ever suffer an untimely death, then I can leave behind a respectable corpse. But considering this is probably happening in the ice-chilled Arctic, they'd probably just assume I was compensating for something. If you know, you know, the guys sure do. But yeah, if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, you better hug the ground. And if it's white like nose powder, then it's finna be your final hour. And speaking of final hour, here's how to survive a hippo attack. No, you're not.
You don't!
And if you're
You
disappointed
don't!
with that, then that's a failure of your own expectations. And considering we're like halfway through the video, if you click genuinely looking for hippo advice, then I'm assuming you're watching this from God's data plan. Hippos are the heaviest things on four legs without a trunk or a horn. They divide crocodiles without a calculator and subtract an estimated 500 people from the population a year, and if we're being honest, it's probably higher. Show me someone who
Yeah.
survived a hippo attack, and I'll show you someone you should get lottery numbers from. So my only advice to surviving this whale carrying—
Wait, did they just say that he was swallowed? He was swallowed 3 times by a hippo and lived. What?
someone you should get lottery numbers from. So my only advice to surviving this whale Karen throwing a fit is to uninstall yourself so he doesn't get credit for the kill. Unless you're exercising the right to bear absolute heat, in which case I hope he likes seafood because he finna eat some shells. Then again, since hippos are as close as you can get to being bulletproof, self-deletion might be the easiest way out. Ironically, in this entire video, the cougar might be the most survivable out of any animal here. The rules for surviving a cougar are pretty simple. Try to travel in groups.
Motherfucker went back for thirds, apparently.
Remember, nothing in this life is free. Now, when surviving the actual cats, the rules are a little different. You see, cougars are actually naturally wary of people and are perfectly happy avoiding humans. So if a puma ever presses you like in this video, it's likely you accidentally stumbled into some cubs and now you gotta see the mama. Back away slowly. All running does is tell the cougar that you're something worth chasing. Also, with ambush hunters, the worst thing you can do when a cat confronts you is turn your back to it, because that makes it more likely to pounce. You're gonna want to stand up tall and back away slowly while speaking in a loud,
It's
firm
so pretty,
voice.
though.
It doesn't matter what you say. You can recite the entire script for the B movie, as long as it's loud enough for the
No,
cougar.
she is having issues in chat. She can't type.
No, you dude. Trying to attack you, right?
It's not even showing her in chat.
Dude. What do you want me to do? Come on. This sucks.
You can also throw things not at, but near the cougar.
Um,
However, if you
give me a
crouch down and pick
second,
something
Piper.
up or take your eyes off the cougar, then you've broken 2 rules in 1 move. Just keep moonwalking and understand that if the cougar wanted you off the census, you'd already be trending on Twitter. This advice pretty much applies for big cats too. However,
Having
if you
issues with
find
the net.
yourself staring down a line, first of all, probably took
I'm
a
guessing
lot
she
of
already
time
did
to
the
understand
whole
that there,
refresh
it's
thing. I'm
likely
not
your
gonna
fault.
go through
But
that
pay
whole
attention to his
process.
tail. If it's swaying
Give
from
me a
side to side,
sec.
that means the line feels threatened, which is good because that means it can still be negotiated with. But if the tail's rigid and not moving at all, then it's likely a predatory encounter, in which case the only thing up for negotiation will be the cost of your casket. In tiger country, it's often advised to wear a backwards mask to convince the ambushing big cat that it's already lost the element of surprise. But with tiger attacks,
I'm just trying to make
it's
sure
likely
that
the striped demons are
it
calling the bluff.
didn't-
Bluffing's probably your only option against a kangaroo. Like with the moose and the brown bear, your goal is to convince the steroid rabbit that you're as little of a threat as possible. And you do that by avoiding eye contact and
Yeah, I'm just trying to double check, make sure that like it didn't somehow like auto block. It's not in the banned users list or anything like that, so
off and kicks you,
let's
you're probably
see.
not getting back up. But if you want a kangaroo cheat code, lower your head, keep your hands close to your body, and cough. A deep cough is similar to the sound weaker males make to submit to a bigger, stronger alpha-roo. It's basically giving the kangaroo the
because like I know I lost
As you
like
can see,
2
this woman
followers
failed to cough, and now
yesterday
she's
for whatever
coughing up a
reason
kid.
because I know
So I guess
Twitch
with
was just being
kangaroos, you have
stupid,
two
and I know one of them
choices.
was Frog.
You either have a coughing fit or be fit
Frogman.
in a coffin.
So
But
he
you
ended up
don't
having
have
to
options when you're
re-follow
dealing
me
with
back.
the
I don't know
most
what
dangerous
happened with
animal
that, but
humanity's ever seen. And that's because it's humanity.
so I'm just
itself.
trying to double
So
check
if you
and
ever happen to
see.
wake up and find that you're a wild animal, here's how to survive a human attack. First is to understand that you are likely screwed, and any outcome that doesn't end
I don't
unless
know,
if you
Piper.
likely
I
will
really
end in
don't.
something worse. And the sooner you can accept that, the sooner you can.
she's not, like I said, she's on the
Documents
block
may
list,
look
so
like the light
there's
work
no
rating,
reason that she
significantly
shouldn't
weaker
be
than
able to
orangutans, gorillas, and chimps. But
type
they
in
make up
chat,
for it.
and she
The
still
same
it
way
still
that
shows her
bully
as a
kid makes up
moderator.
for years of torment with a suspiciously shaped duffel bag and the intent of lighting up the school like a Christmas tree. You can try to run, but the Homo sapien race used to literally chase their prey into heat stroke, since they're able to sweat and cool down while actively running you into the ground. Of course, that's when they hunted with spears. Now they use their father's boomstick to blow you off the senses, while still being too far for you to add any input to the matter. Make no mistake, without claws, venom, or a strong bite force, an unarmed human might seem like an easy W. Until you realize that humans work as a massive monkey mafia, where if you hurt or murk one of their own, they exterminate your entire family. And honestly, that's the nicest thing they'll do. Let
her know it's totally okay.
Taken as a spectacle in their society,
she can take her time. It's totally okay.
Break you down and punish you for being yourself, just like high school. But the worst part of
Internet
it all,
issues,
when
yeah.
the deuces hit the fan and someone gets put on a shirt, they'll blame you for being what you've always been. They'll slaughter hundreds of millions of your kind and then gaslight you to convince themselves that you're the problem. All while actively destroying the natural order that existed billions of years before them. Because humans aren't God, but they sure love to play it. So the only way to survive a human attack is to readjust your goals and
still
just
on all the
enjoy the show.
appropriate
Before a
lists and
hairless oppression
everything,
monkey with a superiority complex comes by and cancels.
I just don't know why. Like, it's showing, like, I know that she's in chat, but like it's when I try to at her, it's not even showing her in chat at all.
Be sure to check out my new book on 100 deadly animals that can RSVP your place in a cemetery. And if you'd like to support this channel beyond just subscribing, my Patreon's also going to be in the description. But other than that, drink water, hug your mother, and be safe out there. Because the only thing more of a menace than the animal behind the cage is the one outside it.
Okay, Suvi, what was the name of the one that you were wanting me to watch? Or do you want to just send it to me? I can't even fucking remember what you said it was. Oh, if you haven't smiled yet today. If I can find it. Did you send it to me? Oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. Go.
You're actually getting
I found it.
Normally, I would just traumatize you for 8 to 10 minutes, however long I need for mid-rolls. Which, to be fair, isn't that hard to do, because nature's a bit... Oh, the video cut off, that was weird. But I was gonna say nature's a brutal reality show where life is all about trying to get renewed to the next season. But in honor of the calendar turning to 2022, here's 22 animal facts to remind you that it ain't all that bad. Few animals have a worse PR team than hyenas. Mostly thanks to Lion King, hyenas got stuck with the label of dead-eyed drooling scavengers that only survive by licking off a lion's plate. Basically, we got a lot wrong about them. But something you probably didn't know is that hyenas form legitimate friendships with each other. And because they live in a hierarchy, low-ranking hyenas are more likely to seek relationships with higher-ranking females. Yeah, basically they're social climbers. Not only that, but hyenas will even go out of their way to bond with the friends of their friends. This type of networking is known as triad closure. And it's one way for a hyena stuck at the bottom rung of the social ladder to move on up without having to fight. Biologists observed a female named Waffles that went from the lowest tier member of the clan to the very top. Not by running fades, but by befriending the right hyenas until she managed to ride the clout elevator all the way to the top floor.
Wow.
Bottom of the cast to alpha female and didn't have to...
I think hyenas are worse clout chasers than like most VTubers.
In cooperative problem-solving tests, a pair of spotted hyenas actually
I say that, but I
and
literally
in these tests, the more seasoned hyenas
don't reach out to people because of that. 100%.
And they were able to do this without being trained. So yeah, not only are hyenas smarter than you think, they have a social circle just like us. And kind of like some sharks. Not all sharks are mindless, antisocial machines. A 4-year study done at the Palmyra Atoll in the Pacific Ocean found that gray reef sharks will actually link up with the same group of sharks year after year. And even though they'll go out into the open ocean at night for food, they'll spend their day hanging out on the reef with the same group. Scientists believe these sharks will not only recognize specific individuals, but will actively choose to hang out with them. And many of these reef sharks maintain the same social circle for the entire 4-year study. But according to them, these technically aren't friendships. It's more accurate to describe them as associates. Or like convenience friends. You know, like the kind that would make no sense anywhere else except the place you work. And since I'm just gonna
jeez.
These sharks meeting up on the reef is their version of chilling in the break room. Some fish are just way smarter than you think. But the smartest fish of them all is the manta ray. Which makes sense because they have by far the biggest brain of any fish. Just for reference, the whale shark is the biggest fish in the sea, yet the manta ray's brain can be up to 10 times larger. The undersea Einstein has the mental capacity for problem solving, learning, and communication. But by far the most impressive thing is they can pass a test that most animals on a planet fail. The mirror test is the ultimate show of self-recognition and intelligence. All an animal needs to do to pass is recognize their own reflection. And when a manta ray swam up to the plate, they seemingly aced it. Captive manta rays reacted by blowing bubbles at their mirror cells and flipping over to look at their own underside. And we know they were checking themselves out because manta rays will often flash their white colorings whenever they meet a new manta. When looking at the manta in the mirror, they didn't do any of that. Meaning this party-sized Pacific pancake actually recognizes...
Yeah, he fucking knew!
Which also means an underwater placemat passed a test that most dogs, cats, and humans younger than 18 months couldn't. Pigs are another animal that were smart enough to conquer the mirror test. But it's not surprising, since pigs are considered the fourth smartest animal in the world behind great apes, cetaceans like dolphins, and elephants. Pigs are smart enough to recognize and respond to their own names when they're only 2 weeks old. On average, they can learn tricks much faster than dogs. Newborn piglets quickly learn to tell their mother's voice apart from all the others and will come running whenever she calls. Also, mother pigs will often sing to their hungry litter of nursing porkies. That doesn't really have to do with intelligence, I just wanted to include it.
That's just adorable.
Perception, in 2016, Lulu the potbelly pig saved her owner from a near-fatal heart attack by running out into the road and playing dead, only getting up to lead the good Samaritan that had checked on her to her fallen owner. In 2014, a pet pig named Lucky saved his family from becoming an ashtray after waking up the entire house with frantic squealing at 4 in the morning. Because of the swine savior, the family just barely made it out of the house, which had just gone up in flames. So yeah, adopt a pig and might just end up saving your life. You could say the same for your pet cat. Plenty of studies.
I don't know. I don't know. I've got two kind of dumb ones.
Increase serotonin while also lowering cortisol levels and blood pressure. Having a long-term cat friend can also lower the risk of heart disease, and studies show that it can reduce the risk of health issues like a stroke by around 30%. And it turns out cats purr at a frequency believed to have borderline therapeutic healing effects on human bones, muscles, and tendons. On top of all that, some surveys show that just owning one can make you more attractive. In a poll, it was discovered that nearly 90% of single women
What does that mean if I have two?
cats as more caring and nurturing. You know how they say you gotta spend money to make money? I'm not gonna make the joke, but you can probably put it together. But none of these are the actual fact for this part. Because cats do so much for us without even realizing it, the least you can do is tell them you love them. And you can, by blinking. Slow blinking has been proven to evoke positive and happy emotions in a cat. If it responds with a blink back, then you know the feeling's mutual. And if it's a new cat, the slow blink makes the cat more likely to approach an unfamiliar person without malicious intent. Basically, a blink can make a cat go from grr to purr in a second. But unlike pet cats, tigers can't purr because they're literally not built that way. Instead, tigers will make this sound known as a chuff, which they typically use to greet each other or express comfort. It's pretty much their happy sound. And just like house cats, tigers
That's still adorable, though.
slow blink to show affection, and they'll even roll over and expose their belly. And since their underside is their most vulnerable spot, this is the ultimate sign of trust. Another fact is that tigers can be selfless when they want to be. Now, to be fair, male tigers typically get the females pregnant and then just go about their business like a tiger Tristan Thompson. But if a male tiger gets a female he's mated with, not only will they share a kill, but the male will let the female and what you have to assume are his cubs eat first. Once the female and her cubs get their fill, only then will the male take his share. Literally the polar opposite of lion society. But cubs can't get too comfortable, because like lions, male tigers typically turn any cubs they come across into past tense. But what would happen if someone did the same to his mate? Rhetorical question, we know the answer, it doesn't end well. Because one man allegedly messed around and found out. Once near a village in Sithathodu in India, a man shot down a full-grown tigress. The poacher, named Baby, came across her while part of a group of people illegally brewing alcohol in the forest, and the encounter cost her her life. But some bad deeds do not go unpunished. Because 3 days later, Baby was confronted by a male tiger believed to be the mate of the female he had slaughtered. And the widower proceeded to put the baby to bed as the rightfully pissed off male tiger brutally mauled the poacher. Baby survived the initial attack, but the injuries gave him an expiration date of only a few days later. But the tiger didn't stop there. The male allegedly mauled any human he came across, and I can't say I blame him. For a usually solid predator, tigers can be loyal. But you want to know what else is? I can give you 100 guesses, and you still probably won't come up with the animal next. And that's because not a lot of animals are more loyal than the golden jackal. They're one of the few mammals that are monogamous. And unlike half of all humans, when they say till death do them part, they actually mean it. Golden jackal couples spend most of their lives together, which also makes the male jackal one of the best fathers in the entire animal kingdom. The father jackal's so important to the family that if something ever happened to him, there's a good chance his cubs wouldn't survive to the next season. And that's because when the mother and father hunt together, their success rate is 3 times higher than if they would have went at it alone. When the female jackal's ready to give birth, her partner will dig protective burrows for the pups and he'll defend them all with his life. And if there's a shortage of food, the father jackal will vomit whatever's left in his stomach to feed his children. Yeah, it may be gross, but it's still keeping that face alive.
I mean, yeah.
Lucky for them, they got parents that work well together. Or at least better than 50% of marriages. Coyotes are the jackals of America, but instead of working well with other coyotes, some are
I almost did a spit take and got tea everywhere again.
Badgers hate each other with extreme prejudice, but together they make a deadly 1-2 punch. Coyotes and American badgers have been known to use team play to grief prairie dogs and ground squirrels. Basically, it goes like this. Badgers can flush out the prairie dogs by invading their burrow, and if the prairie dogs try to hightail it on land, then they'll get run down by the wily coyote. So even though coyotes and badgers are mortal enemies, their hunting success rate actually shoots up 30% when they set aside their differences. And I can't be 100% sure, but they almost look like friends here. But somehow coyotes and badgers aren't even the weirdest couple on this list. This is your obligatory spider worm because I understand that it do be like that. Tarantulas have been
trigger warning, sorry guys.
Crash in their burrow. This bite-sized Kermit is actually perfectly safe.
This is, yeah, this is so adorable because it's the spider has a pet
In
frog.
return, the frog gets a rent-free apartment and an 8-legged bodyguard. So in a case of mutualism on steroids, the safest place in the jungle for a juicy humming frog is actually right under his arachnid roommate. And the tarantula will even use chemical cues to recognize their particular frog. It's an equal partnership where both parties have something to gain. But sometimes animals might help each other out even when they don't get anything in return. Orcas are the biggest bullies of the ocean, and not seals, stingrays, sharks, or even other orcas safe from the poison Oreo guppy can cause.
Why?
There's one animal that'll stand up to them. Humpback whales have been seen protecting animals like this seal from hunting orcas looking for takeout. In this case, a whale carefully balanced a Weddell seal on its chest after a pot of malicious equality symbols knocked it off the ice floe. And the humpback proceeded to keep the seal out of harm's way, even though it didn't seem to noticeably benefit the whale in any way. To date, humpback whales have played guardian angels with seals, sunfish, and even baby gray whales. Humpbacks will often harass killer whales and confront them as a group in an act known as mobbing. And they'll turn up the intensity if there are any humpback calves nearby. And if there aren't any around, it's possible they satisfy this parental drive by defending any animal being targeted. I can't tell you for sure what it is, but it does mean humpbacks might be the only thing alive that can send a pod of orcas the other way. And this drive to protect others can extend to people. A marine biologist was terrified as a 50,000-pound humpback got dangerously close to her, nudging at her with its head and bumping her with its belly.
Come to find out there was a shark on the other side.
The boat that she noticed a 15-foot tiger shark on the other side of the whale. There's a solid chance this was a pure coincidence and the whale only helped her out by accident. But given their track record of altruism, I would doubt it. Cetaceans are one of the top 5 smartest animals on the planet, so it's not hard to believe. Speaking of cetaceans, dolphins have a pretty good argument for being the smartest thing on Earth that doesn't have thumbs. In fact, bottlenose dolphins are so intelligent that they start learning before they're born. And that's because mother dolphins will sing to their calves while they're still in the womb. That way, the unborn bottlenose learns its mother's signature whistle. The mother dolphin learns its signature whistle for the baby months before it's born and will continue doing it in the weeks after. But dolphins aren't the only animals that talk to their kids before they're alive. Alligator and crocodile hatchlings will call out to their mother while still in the eggs to let her know that they're ready to hatch. As soon as the mother gator hears this call, she'll immediately start digging her children out. But it's believed that baby gators are also coordinating their hatching time when they make that noise. In an experiment, scientists played the sound of these egg calls around an alligator and her eggs just to judge their reaction. Not only did the mother alligator immediately start digging up the speaker, the baby gator started calling back and even began hatching. So it's possible the alligator hatchlings call out to make sure all the siblings are on the same page and hatch together, while also getting the mother. The mother's attention is something octopus never get because they're born orphans. The mother usually dies as soon as they're born and the father gives up on life long before. Which means these babies are the size of a grain of rice, yet have to figure out life in an ocean full of stranger danger. But since octopus are the smartest things in the ocean without a backbone, this can lead to what I like to call creative problem solving. This octopus manages to avoid the jaws of a deadly moray eel by riding it like a drunk sorority girl on a mechanical bar. I'm pretty sure the octopus lasted longer. This baby blanket octopus was seen piling a jellyfish using the tentacles in case they ever needed to go on the defensive. Perhaps the best example of cephalopod creativity is that some will carry 2 halves of a coconut to use as a travel-sized panty. At the first sign of danger, the octopus retreats back into its makeshift shell. When they're not doing that, they're carrying it around like they're late for a flight. Octopus are just one of those animals whose intelligence never fully gets appreciated, like ravens. Ravens and corvids in general are one of the 2 smartest kinds of birds. In fact, ravens are so smart that they've even started doing something that we figured out thousands of years ago. Ravens and wolves have developed a mutualistic relationship where ravens will call out to wolf packs and lead them to food. In exchange,
which this was talked about 1 or 2 videos ago, I think.
But studies have shown that these ravens have actually started forming legitimate relationships with specific wolves in the pack, especially the pups. Ravens in Yellowstone were seen grabbing sticks to play tug-of-war with the curious wolf pups and would even grab at their
That's still so stinking cute, though.
And because ravens can remember individuals for up to 5 years, these ravens have started forming emotional attachments to certain wolves. Which is why this is a Disney movie just waiting to happen. And you know how I said corvids are one of the 2 smartest things with wings? It's because parrots are in the same class of intelligence, and it's the African gray parrot that's considered the smartest. Which is probably why
they are wicked smart.
States, Andrew Jackson owned one as a pet. So when President Jackson passed away in 1845, Pole the African gray attended his funeral. But he had to be escorted out because Pole the parrot started swearing so loudly it disturbed all the morning attendants. The foul mouse, already a tirade, could still be heard even after he was ushered out the room and eventually had to be carried out the house. When you think of animals,
Oh my god!
your mind probably draws a blank after parrots. You definitely wouldn't guess the next animal on here. In 1971 in Maine, Scotty Dunning and George Swallow came across an orphan baby seal on the shore of a harbor, and Swallow decided to take the little guy in. Because of its eating habits, he named the seal Hoover, after the vacuum. After years of being raised by Swallow, Hoover would imitate his caretaker, repeating his favorite phrases with his thick accent to match. It's one of those things you would not believe if you never heard it. I want you to listen to this and keep in mind, this is a seal talking. As someone who's working around animals, zookeepers often end up learning way more than they need to know. But one of the more pleasant and safe work things that zookeepers have discovered is that one of the most irritable animals in Africa is actually a big pushover. The rhinoceros has a nasty and short temper, but it's only because they're legally blind in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the world. But anyone,
I mean, yeah, that's fair. You'd be a little grumpy
finds out
too.
that They have the personality of an armor-plated lapdog.
They're giant
smart,
puppies.
have way more personality than you think, and they're incredibly affectionate. Cheetahs in captivity are slightly less affectionate. In fact, they can get so crippled by anxiety that they struggle to mate. The solution? Many cheetahs have gotten their own personal emotional support dog. Not only is it cute, the cheetahs use the more outgoing dogs as role models and will adjust their behaviors after them. These dogs,
That's so
which are usually
cute.
shepherds or labradors, are introduced to their cheetah counterparts at an early age in supervised playdates. If all goes well, the pair rarely leave each other's side. As the friendship helps redirect the cheetah's natural nervous energy, the at-risk cats are less stressed and therefore more likely to mate. The dogs win too, since many parks like the San Diego Zoo will use shelter dogs to pair with the wildcats. In fact, this is hot.
So it's a win-win! Yay!
So it's a chart that has the potential to save both animals. That doesn't make you feel something in this next story that definitely will. This is Lala Penguin. After he was caught on a fishing net and left injured, the Japanese family rescued him and nursed him back to health. And Lala was smart enough to realize he'd rather live in a rent-free, air-conditioned apartment than have to fight for his life in the wild. One of Lala's favorite things to do was walk around the neighborhood and visit the local fish market. So his family gifted him with a backpack to carry his favorite snack of sardines and mackerel back home. Lala was so respected in his community that he never had to spend money for fish, he just paid for it with his presence. Lala lived through this.
That's so great! Oh my god, that's so cute.
He passed away in 1996.
No!
Final fact of this video. This is Lawrence Anthony. He was a conservationist that dedicated his entire life to rescuing and rehabilitating wild animals. He was also known as the Elephant Whisperer after he was able to bring a group of escaped elephants back to their reserve and away from terrified locals who considered shooting them down. But in 2012, Lawrence Anthony unexpectedly died from a sudden heart attack. After his death, a group of wild elephants, the same ones he had helped rescue, arrived at his house and stayed for 2 days in what onlookers could
I
only
remember
describe
this.
as a vigil. They traveled several hours to get there, and some of the elephants that showed up hadn't been at the house in nearly 2 years. After that, the elephants would make the trip to their fallen caretaker's house at the same time each year around March 2nd, the exact day Lawrence Anthony passed away. Elephants are highly emotional animals that will mourn the death of their own, especially if it was an important member of their herd like a matriarch. So it only made sense that they'd pay their respects to the man that gave most of his life trying to protect theirs. And there you have it, 22 animal facts to start off your 2022.
That last one made me a little teary,
These
but
videos
it's
take
okay.
a lot of time to write, record, and edit. So for more consistent videos, make sure you follow my TikTok and Instagram. Both are going to be in the description. Also, if you'd like to support this channel beyond subscribing, my Patreon's also going to be down.
Okay.
Other than
So, I'm not sure what else to do. We can do one game of this. So, it's just a game that's dealing with higher or lower guesses on Google searches. I'm gonna throw some music on. We'll play this at least a couple of times, see how it goes. I think it'd probably be higher. Alright. Maybe lower? I don't even know who the I don't... Maybe lower? Okay, was a tie? Lower. Of course, why? But Subway sucks! Higher, yeah. Taylor Swift piano, lower. Far lower, for sure, right? Palm Islands. I don't know if it'd be 6 million. Brave New World. It's definitely gonna be higher. Okay. Higher. I just realized that my screen is fucked up. Family Tree higher, for sure. Tuberculosis higher. Estee Lauder higher. WikiLeaks. Ooh. Higher? Alright. Alzheimer's higher, for sure. The Jester higher. Lower! Oh! The timing on that! Obviously won't catch the audio clip in there, but... for sure higher, right? Royal Family higher. What?! Higher. The Pill higher. Oh, fuck you! Higher, for sure. Lower. Higher. Tie, okay. Lint. Probably higher? Yeah. Higher. Lower! Huh? That one is a throwaway. I didn't think it'd be anywhere near 9 million. I want to say lower, but I know it's higher. It's gotta be. Base jumping, lower. Lower? No, nah. Let's try again. Okay, that's... I just did that one for the memes. Okay, so New York Rangers versus Pampers. It's definitely gonna be Pampers higher, I believe. Yeah. The Last Supper. I don't... I feel like it'd be lower. Higher. Higher for fucking sure. Oh, I think Jaws would be lower than Mickey Mouse, I feel like. George Foreman. Oh, yeah. No? What? How? How was George Foreman less than that? Like, fucking how? fucking OBS. Can you not today? Thank you. Just trying to adjust stuff, but OBS is being a bitch. Hang on a second, guys. Okay. I is back. Hang on, I need to adjust this because it's bothering me really bad. And I was trying to adjust it and yeah, that it wasn't fucking working. It's more so I was just trying to center it. Okay. Higher for sure. Lower. Right? One would think. Yeah. Okay. Like half of these people I don't fucking know who they are. Snakes and... Kata Tuta. Higher? No. Damn. You guys are getting to see how dumb I am, though. We're gonna higher. I don't like that. No. Did not like that. Lower? What the fuck? Why? Okay. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm over it today. I think I'm over it. Blame Steam for this, guys. Let me see, actually. And of course, I'm just like floating. Ma'am, what are you doing? Bro, Steam still isn't fucking launching. Nothing is launching. Fucking maintenance was at 6:15. Okay, guys. I know that there's probably not a whole lot of you guys here. I don't know who I'm gonna read out to, but this is mildly infuriating. Mildly. Might just take you guys over to Orca. Yeah. It's only the like I think it's you and Piper that are here. I can only see two, so. Alright, I'm gonna take you guys over to Orca. Go show her love. She just ended her subathon yesterday, so yeah, she's free! But go show her some love. And I will see you guys on Thursday. We're gonna try to do Alice Madness Returns on Thursday, so yeah. Alright, bye guys.